Welcome to this episode of Hustle and Pro. I'm your host, Kelly Walker. Today we're out at PGA Frisco because we're talking golf. We're talking to golfer Tarini Bhoga about her experience winning state for Centennial High School this past year, her senior year, and we're talking to her about her journey as she moves on and plays golf in college. So enjoy this episode of Hustle and Pro. Welcome to Hustle and Pro, Tarini Bhoga. Did I say your name right?
You did.
Okay, great. Thanks for joining us. You were just telling me how busy you were this weekend with golf. So you just said you played 36 holes a day for 3 days?
Yeah, I did.
Whew.
It was a match play bracket, so as you move forward, you go up in the bracket, and I ended up going to the finals, which was pretty good, but I mean, it was very tiring,
So I want to rewind a tiny bit because I talk a lot on this podcast about Frisco ISD students. I know you're technically not a Frisco ISD student anymore, right? You just graduated.
Yes, I did.
In May. But I know that I feel like you had a really big milestone. So tell us what your big accomplishment just was right before you graduated.
Okay, so for UIL, I just won state, the 5A girls Texas State Championship for golf. It's a pretty big accomplishment.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the biggest probably the biggest in Texas. So, I mean, obviously, throughout my golf journey these past couple years in high school, I'm really glad that I was able to end on a good note. And, you know, I've come this far, and I really can't wait to see what, you know, this will lead me to. So,
Yeah.
Was
state, had you ever been to the tournament before?
I have. I've been my sophomore year, my junior year, and my senior year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
you were comfortable being there?
I was. It was actually a different course than what we played the first 2 years.
Okay.
So not too comfortable, but I kind of had the experience, so I knew what I was heading into.
Your sophomore and junior year at state, how'd you do in those tournaments?
I think my sophomore year we ended like 9th as a team. I think it's out of 12, so we were very low in the field, but I didn't play very good. I think I was still very new to the sport and kind of how high school worked and how that works. So I was very nervous that first year that we went, but I was kind of in the lower end of the field.
Yeah.
I think junior year I got a little bit more comfortable. After the first day I was sitting in, I think, 4th place, so I was like top 5, which was not too bad. I kind of just went down after day 2. A little bit of the nerves got to me. So, I mean, it was still a learning lesson. I 100% think that, and you know, I think that happened for a reason, so I'm not mad about that. And then I'm glad that this year I kind of overcame both those challenges and was able to come in first. So
to win it all.
Yeah.
That's so exciting.
I think that's such a crazy improvement from going from one of the lower ends, like almost last place, to winning, which is something.
Yeah, do you think that was that a goal that you set for yourself then?
Not winning, not that, obviously winning is a great thing. Like you would love to win. I didn't have my expectations too high. I knew where I stood, but I'm really glad that I was able to, you know, get me to a point where I did have a chance. So
yeah,
I'm really glad I was in that position.
You mentioned, like I think your sophomore year at state, you were a little bit newer. Do you mean new to the sport, or just at that level? You mean
at that level? I feel like I've had the experience in smaller tournaments, but I wasn't really at that level where for high school, and that's kind of the highest level where you can go.
Right.
So it was very nerve-wracking for me, but I started playing golf when I was in 5th grade, and so it kind of grew from there. I was in between sports. I played soccer for a long time, so
I want to talk about that too.
Yeah.
So talking about playing soccer and the differences with they're such different sports, right?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, like physically they're different sports, but also just
mentally, completely.
Right.
I agree.
Mentally. So just kind of, what do you feel like are the differences, or playing as an individual and as a team? Let's talk about that.
I mean, definitely there's a team aspect to golf. I think there's both that team aspect and individual, where you kind of know mentally where you stand. But soccer has taught me so much. I mean, I played ever since I was really young, I think 3 to like high school. So, I mean, I really grew and I learned a lot about it. I learned a lot how to be a team player, how to kind of maneuver through those challenges, like physically. I think golf has taught me a lot mentally on that side. I've really learned to be patient with myself a lot, which is a big thing, and kind of like take everything one step at a time. It's not too rushed. It's a very slow-paced sport compared to soccer. So
What was your soccer position?
I was a striker.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was always.
That's.
I actually played every position when I was little. I
Okay.
kind of moved around. So, but I mean, golf is like I learned golf was like my true passion, and I really stuck with it from there.
Do you feel, when you talked about the mindset, like, do you feel like, put yourself back in those positions, especially like as striker, like those rushes and the surges, as opposed to like the slow pace and patience, right?
Yeah.
Of golf. So when you say different mindset, is that what you mean?
Yeah,
So
I would think so. I think that like you always have to be in the moment in soccer. Same with golf, but you kind of have to think ahead. You know, you want to pace yourself. There's mentally, it's a really long time, like, to think, and you think a lot when you're playing golf. You know, on soccer, when you're playing soccer, like, it's all in the moment.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, I feel like when you're playing soccer, right, it's you've trained for it, and then it's just your body's natural reaction to if you get a pass or through ball, whatever, like you just know what to do with it because it's right there, and you're going to the goal. But like with golf, you have to think through every decision.
Yeah.
I mean, I wonder how many decisions you make, right,
so
during one round.
And I mean, soccer, you can like practice for it. You can set yourself up for a certain shot, or you can do that. For golf, it's hard to set yourself up, but it's like every shot is different. You get really lucky, you get really unlucky. So, I mean, it really depends, and that's just a lot to think about as you're playing.
So when we're talking about the team aspect of soccer, right, you can kind of understand your teammates' strengths and weaknesses, and like you have a specific role on that team. Does golf have that same aspect where when you're playing, you know, I saw you playing here recently with your Centennial team, and there were, what, 5 of you. Do you have a role on that team, or is everybody playing the same? Kind
of. In golf, you kind of have like a lineup where it's like, you know, that you're the first seed, second seed, third seed, so on. So it's 5 of you, and you kind of know where you stand, how you have some expectation on your back, you know, being probably the top 3 seeds, you know that you have to play well.
So you know going into it, like kind of how you're ranked. Is there a team captain?
No, not. I mean, generally, like for the team, there might be one, but like the seniors were on the team captain this year for high school, so it kind of worked like that. But it's not necessarily out of the 5. There's a team captain. It's kind of, you know, whoever takes leadership in that position. But I think soccer's a lot different, where everyone is kind of equal, and they all have their own job. They all have, you know, defense, midfield, offense kind of has their own job. Right. So, but sections of the field, their responsibilities. Right. Yeah. So, I mean, golf is still that team aspect, but it's like, you know, you have to perform well. So, I mean, it kind of just works on that. And I mean, you can make mistakes, but it's like, you know, that like your team still relies on you in both sports. Sure. So when you're on the golf course with your teammates, do you always know what they're doing, how they're doing? Because you're not always with them, right? Yeah. For college and high school, you can kind of like look or like ask your coach. You can be like, oh, how is so and so doing? Do you do that? I do. I actually check up on my girls a lot. I find that it kind of comforts me, like knowing that, oh, if someone's doing bad, I kind of need to pick it up. Or not that if they're doing good, I can kind of pace myself, but it's like I just like to know where everyone stands and kind of so relate to them. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's interesting. So you ask your coach. Yeah. I've always, when I've been out here watching, I've always wondered, like, how does the coach see it all? Yeah. Being, you know, 5 different places at once or whatever. I guess they're running around, and you guys have runners and fans and people and parents that are all keeping everybody updated. And sometimes he doesn't tell me directly. He just tells me, oh, like, so-and-so's doing good, so-and-so's doing bad, so-and-so's 1 over, 2 over. So it's like, it kind of just depends. You keep saying he. So you had Coach Ott and Coach Margraves, is that right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And those are different, school and then club. So Coach Brad Ott is my outside coach. He's my swing coach. He kind of helps me on techniques and like my dynamic with golf. And then Coach Margraves, he's more of like a school coach. You know, kind of just there for support. He doesn't really. We do strategy and things like that, but it's more directed to school tournaments and kind of how we view the game, and then outside like swing. Prepping that way, right? Instead of like your technique individually. Yeah. How do you feel like it's going to be in college? Because I want to talk about your college experience and like what you expect. Yeah. So let's just back up then for that. So, gosh,
it's the end of July, so you're
Yeah.
probably heading off to college soon. Like
Very soon.
all these people are who just graduated. Like I talked to you about my daughter doing the same thing. You are going to UT Arlington.
Yes, yeah.
So what do you expect that to be as far as, you know, how many girls are going to be playing with you there, and that like the coaching dynamic there?
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm super excited. I mean, I never expected me to at first like win state and then kind of like grow off that and then know, I feel like so much happened at one time, and I'm really glad that, I'm going to Arlington, somewhere like close, and it feels like home to me so far. So I'm really excited about that. For the girls that I'm playing with, they're all local girls, so I kind of know them or like know of them. So
You do?
Yeah.
Have you played against some of them, like the ones that are your age or 1 or 2 years above or below?
I've met them, but I haven't. Like they're a couple of years older than me,
Okay.
so I just wasn't too into the sport then.
That's cool though that you are familiar with them at least.
Yeah. So like I know their names and everything before I joined, so it was really good.
How big is the team?
It's about 6 or 7 people right now.
Okay.
I mean, I think there's still some things that are moving around
Sure.
and like people transferring, things like that. So, but I'm very excited. 6 or 7 people. So that means like I wanted to play. That was the main reason I'm going to Arlington. I really wanted to play, get my name out there, kind of see where golf can take me, knowing that like I will play.
Yeah. How did that work out as far as knowing the timeline of like knowing that you wanted to play in college? Like I assume maybe you were early high school or something when you realized you maybe were good enough. So yeah, tell me about that.
So I was early high school. I was still in between sports. I mean, soccer was a big thing. I would play a lot of soccer and then a lot of golf. Almost like it was 4 sports because I'd play both inside of school and outside of school. So.
So club soccer, school soccer, outside golf, and school golf.
Yes, it's a lot.
Through sophomore year?
Through sophomore year.
Okay, yeah, that is a lot. So you probably had to decide.
I did, yeah.
Was there a point when you wanted to play college soccer?
I mean, it was always in the back of my mind.
Yeah.
I really didn't make that decision till sophomore year, right?
Okay.
So, but yeah, I really felt like golf was my passion. I grew to love it. My dad, he grows, and he plays it as a hobby. So growing up, I kind of just picked it up through him too.
That's awesome.
So, sorry, back to the question.
Yeah. So just the timeline. So then maybe by junior year, you were like, you thought it was something you could do, play in college.
Yeah. So, yeah, I kind of was late to the process. The golf recruiting process is a little different than a little bit of other sports. Obviously, there's a timeline for everything. So they kind of reached out through the national tournament again. So it was like I reached out first, but I mean, it was back-to-back emailing. So it was good. And then I committed around, I want to say September, August. Yeah.
So as you got into your senior year, you settled in knowing where you were going to go.
Right, yeah.
That's nice.
I wanted to keep it super easy on myself. I didn't want to stress myself towards the end of the year,
Making decisions. And Then you could just play. So you mentioned the national tournament. That's how I met you. And so you're talking about the PGA National High School Invitational?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so there's a boys one the week before, and then you guys, the girls, girls were here. It was June or July? Was it July? July.
It was July.
I'm getting all my summer golf butts confused. So it was July. So tell me about that tournament. That wasn't your first time then? You said they saw you the first year.
Right, yeah. So my first year I came in 5th. I think the field has gotten a lot more competitive since then. I mean, obviously, more people in Texas, and they kind of want to get the tournament out there. So I know it'll be competitive over the years, which I'm glad about. I did come in tied for 5th my first year. I think that's also why they kind of reached out. And they kind of went through that path, which is good. It was a good starting step. But this year, I kind of had my hopes up a little bit. I knew where I stood, but also the field is very good. So, I mean,
it's harder and better, right?
Right, yeah. There are some good teams out there. So I'm really glad that, our team did well. Our team did very well. We came in tied for 7th, or I think 7th this year, which is not bad at all.
Yeah. So that's your Centennial team, high school team. And so was that the last time you got to play with them?
Yeah, that was. So it's a little bittersweet, but these 5 girls are one of my favorite group of girls to play with. I mean, we've had some moments here and there, but we always come through, and I feel like they'll definitely be missed. I mean, I know they have a lot
Sure.
of potential. It's a very young team. I mean, there's 2 seniors leaving, but the other 3 are like kind of underclassmen, so they're kind of moving up. So
They could keep going with the momentum that you
Yeah.
guys have.
I'm
What
glad.
are you doing when you're not on the golf course?
I have a lot of other hobbies. I play all sports still to this day. I picked up pickleball.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I play some spike ball, just here and there, casual things. I do some art. I like ceramics. That's a big thing in school.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm not too big on like school specifically. I mean, like I'm still like a good student. I feel like.
You sound active though, right?
Yeah.
You want to be busy.
Right. Yeah. I
Busy
kind of
on a court or something, or
Yeah.
with your hands, or
I'm always outdoors. Like I love going on like walks, running, things like that. So I'm always staying active, which is one thing.
What about when you're going to school here, going to UTA? What is it that you are studying? Like, what's your major?
I'm doing business analytics right now.
Ooh, business analytics.
Yeah.
Okay.
hmm
Is there a job you want?
Not specifically. I think I'm still exploring. I know that golf is kind of, or like sports, something in that direction is kind of what I want to go for. I really want to see how far golf takes me. I'm still not new, but I'm still like learning more about myself and like how far I can take this sport. So
Yeah, in the big
I
scheme
think-
of things, it's kind of new. You are kind
Yeah.
of new. You're so young.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I do think this is just the beginning, so I want to see how far it takes me, which is a big thing.
Well, you're in the right place, right?
Mhm.
Growing up in Frisco. Were you in Frisco
Yeah, for
all
sure.
this time?
Yeah, I lived
Yeah.
in Plano, and then I moved across 121.
Okay.
So literally down
Yeah.
the street, and yeah, I went to Frisco.
But growing up here, I mean, especially now with golf here, with the building that we're in right now,
Mhm.
Northern Texas PGA and PGA of America next door, and this facility. How often were you coming here for when you were in high school?
in high school, we came here once a week. On Mondays was our day. Each high school gets a designated day, so
Right.
our days were Mondays.
Okay.
It's a really great facility. I mean, we get to play out here all the time. That front 9 at West was always I consider like a pretty easy run through of what we could expect.
Yeah,
So-
comfortable with that.
Right, yeah.
That's amazing, right?
Uh-huh.
That's your comfort
I know,
level.
yeah.
It's amazing to think about.
Uh-huh.
But when you think about jobs and the possibility of, working in golf, this is a really
Yeah.
great
Right, yeah.
foundation for you to have.
I definitely believe so, and like I know a couple friends that intern here
Mhm.
and things like that. So I definitely feel like this is the right path I'm headed towards, and
Yeah.
I know that there's always going to be something at PGA for me. So, which is good.
Definitely. Well,
start.
that's exciting, and I'm glad PGA connected me to you,
Mhm.
and so that I could meet you and sit down with you. So, what's next? Like, what are your immediate next steps? Moving out of the house, and
Yeah.
getting your own. Are you dorming it?
I have an apartment actually.
Ooh,
Yeah, it's a 4x4.
Oh, what
So
fun!
It's
Do you
pretty
know your
exciting.
roommates yet?
Yeah, they're my teammates.
Oh, good.
So I mean, yeah, I'll be with them a lot, which is good. I really am excited to get into that athlete setting and
Yeah.
get up and kind of work in that schedule. So I mean, that's something I'm looking forward to. So
That's
I'm
great.
excited.
That just sounds fun.
Yeah.
The whole your next few years already sound like a joy and a really good time for you to compete at what you do and enjoy
Yeah.
yourself and
Yeah.
meet a new set of people in golf,
Right.
for you to connect with. So,
Mhm. Yeah.
best of luck and
Thank
congrats
you.
to
I'm very
you.
excited.
Yeah.
It's very exciting.
And thank you for coming out today. I know
course.
you're in your summer, and so thanks for taking a minute
Yeah.
and sitting down with us.
No, I appreciate it. I appreciate you having me and everything. So
Of
thank you.
course.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us for this episode. Be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube and follow me on Instagram at hustle_and_pro for updates on what's going on with this podcast and just general my life in sports in Frisco, Texas. We'll see you next time.